Thank you very much for choosing to learn more about how to protect your business against any disaster in just 2 days with Express Survival Readiness by CrashProof Solutions. My name is Leonid and I'm one of your local solution architects. You can reach me today at 510-282-1008 and please also visit our website at crashproofsolutions.com. Today we're making what many would consider to be an outrageous claim. In just 2 days, we claim that we can ensure that your business will survive a major disaster, such as fire, flood, theft, hard disk failure, with minimal or zero impact. We further claim to be able to deliver this service for a flat fee with all necessary hardware and software included. And lastly, we guarantee results. So how can this be possible? Well, let's look at what it takes to guarantee such results. At the end of second day, we will conduct a full practice run of rebuilding your business entirely just from your backups and from the newly created Business Survival Manual. And you will tell us that you probably already have an IT consultant that you love working with, or you have someone working for you in full time. We are happy to work with your existing IT consultant or your internal IT team as a non-competing, supplementary service provider. At the conclusion of our engagement, your consultant, armed with our Business Survival Manual and our backups, will be able to rebuild your business just as well as we can, although we probably will be able to do it a little bit quicker. You probably already have an existing backup strategy in place. But wouldn't it be great to get a second opinion? When was the last time you've tested restoring anything from your backups? The reason why this is important is because we have background operating a data recovery lab. Many of our customers who eventually ask us to recover from failed hard drives tell us that they've had backups, but they turned out to be not reliable enough. For example, I had a customer last year who gave me 751 gigabyte backup files at 750 separate files, allegedly containing the backup of their Exchange server. Well, more than half of those backups were in fact corrupt, and it took me 80 hours to rebuild that company. It was very expensive. How far back do your backups go, and is every critical system included? There are two kinds of backups. There is the backup for files that you've accidentally deleted in the past, and then there's the kind of backup that allows you to restore a critical system exactly as it is today, and I'll explain that in just a couple of seconds. But most conventional backup schemes, unless they supplement with an online backup system, do not go far enough to enable you to do what you ultimately need, which is to recover some kind of an important file from some point in the past. Do you have a current copy of all your current data outside the office? When your office gets burned down, burglarized, or something else awful happens, such as, for example, I had an insurance agency that had a toilet overflow that flooded their entire office. We had a copy of their data off-site, so we were able to rebuild them and bring them back in business in about half a day. But if you do not have a copy of your data off-site, you will be in real trouble. Can you restore every system that's critical to your operation exactly as it is today? Now, the reason why I will use the word exactly is because there is a little known concept called software lockdown to specific hardware. For example, if you take a computer that's running Windows XP Professional, and that's a Dell computer, and you take that hard drive and you put it inside an HP computer, Microsoft Windows will tell you, I'm no longer activated. Please call Microsoft to activate me. The same happens to some extent with really expensive software that software vendors choose to license per machine. So for example, let's say you have a medical instrument or a customer database system, and it's locked down to that specific server. What happens when that server's hard drive dies? If you try to reinstall it on a new drive, chances are the software will say, I've detected new hardware. You need to license me again. Which is usually not a problem except when the software is no longer supported, even though you like it and the hardware still works. When the company is simply out of business, or when they refuse to support you. For example, you contact a company and say, hi, my medical device failed, it's model XYZ6. Model XYZ6 is no longer supported. Let me transfer you to sales, who will be happy to sell you a $15,000, $20,000 piece of equipment. What about your non-computer devices? I'm talking about your phone systems, your routers, your firewalls, your printers, your copiers, all of these essential pieces of infrastructure that no one gives a second thought to. And what about the contacts on your smartphone even? Your smartphone contains some of your best customers, and what happens if you leave it in the back of a taxi cab tomorrow, or if it just takes a dive in your toilet? This happens every day. Did you know it takes us less than 2 minutes to make sure that whatever data is on your smartphone is easily available from anywhere in the world? It's very simple. How current is your business survival manual? You may already have some kind of business survival documentation in place, but chances are it's out of date. Many times customers contact us when they need to rebuild an office and they say, well, we have backups, but they're as of 2 months ago. Well, what good is that? If the strategy is not comprehensive, if you do not have additional layers of protection in place, you're not fully protected. And now let's talk about true business continuity. It all begins with Business Disaster Survival Manual. And in that manual, which of course is electronic and accessible to both you and us, we record all the passwords, all the network settings, IP addresses, how to connect to your printers, how to connect to your copiers, which drivers you need, your license keys, product keys, where will you find a copy of all your software, and on and on and on. It's a very specialized skill to even know what you need to record, firewall rules, and it's a really huge list. And we get that all done very, very quickly. Then we configure these systems for internet online backups. What that means is that any data created from that second forward is automatically copied to an internet offsite location. In the event of a disaster, you can always download it from the internet. For larger companies, we deploy a storage appliance with at least 2 hard drives. When one of the drives in that appliance dies, and probably will, you will still be protected, we will be notified, we will dispatch someone to replace the failed drive in the appliance, but you will probably not even know that even happened. And this is not necessary for the small companies, but it's essential for companies that generate a lot of data, such as more than 10 gigabytes per month. We're talking about media professionals, such as photographers, videographers, cinematographers, graphic designers, as well as law firms, as well as medical offices, engineering firms, and so forth. We also provide offsite storage services, where we take one of the drives that's in the storage appliance, or the initial drive that we've created for you if you're a much smaller company, and we keep it at our secure location. Should there be a problem, we will initiate what we call rapid recovery. We will access this drive in our office on our fast hardware and rebuild the infrastructure on our hardware without waiting for a vendor to ship new servers to us. Every backup we provide is encrypted. It is critical that backups be always encrypted because of the risk of interception of a drive while it's in transit. For example, if a thief visits your office and steals your backup appliance, all they get is a bunch of encrypted files that they're not likely to decode in their lifetime. That protects your client's privacy. Of course, every true business continuity solution must be constantly monitored. We go way beyond reading reports. In fact, if we don't receive a success report, we assume that the job has failed, and we take appropriate measures. We monitor the health of hard drives. Should a hard drive die, we will be notified immediately. We monitor that all backup jobs complete successfully. We monitor critical services. It's a long list, but it gets done, and that's what's essential to making sure that your business stays online. All of this takes hardware, but we include all hardware. That includes your storage appliance, your additional hard drives, because your most critical hardware will be upgraded. We will upgrade it at a minimum 2 hard drives for the system drive, so that if one drive dies and you can't afford to have that medical instrument be offline in the middle of the day, it will continue to operate, we will be notified, and we will replace the drive as quickly as possible, but you will not even know that has happened. Big difference from being notified by a blue screen. We also include smart network infrastructure such as gigabit switches, and not just any gigabit switch, but a gigabit switch that's smart enough to tell us that it's dying. Leonid's expertise goes far beyond business continuity consulting. You can pause the video at this time and take a closer look at this slide. You may need to switch into a 720p or 1080p view to see it clearly, as there's quite a bit. But this is a result of approximately 18 years of experience, primarily building disaster recovery and business continuity solutions for companies as small as 0 employees and as large as multinational corporations listed on NASDAQ. In summary, this is what it really takes to be safe. It all begins with a business survival manual, which must be continually updated and tested periodically, ideally every 90 or 180 days, to ensure that all the information that's recorded there is still accurate and still sufficient to rebuild your entire business. Then you add offsite data storage, which enables rapid recovery and usually comes with managed rotation services. With offsite data storage and online backup, you can rebuild your business no matter what happens to your office. Online backup serves as the temporary location for all of your newly created data. For small companies, it's your primary location. It allows you to restore files from anywhere. It allows you to keep multiple versions of the same file. Then, of course, we have our on-site appliance, which contains at least 2 hard drives, onto which we write encrypted backups. With a combination of this appliance and online backup, we can recover from any hard drive failure inside your office in a matter of minutes. And at the end, what is all this about? It's about letting you sleep safe and sound at night. The next step is to call me right now, which is 510-282-1008. It doesn't matter what time of day it is. And let's get started. Thank you very much.